evening, traders from across the globe, and welcome to the 1296th edition of Short-Term Trading Live with Oscar, and that would be me. Good evening, traders. This video, the 1296th installment of these educational videos. The purpose of these videos is to help teach you the art of technical analysis so that you can use those charts to show you what might happen going forward in the markets. As we know, futures trading can be extremely risky. In fact, forget about can be, is extremely risky. You can lose all the money you ever dreamed of having in this business. So know that it's risky. Know you got to use risk capital if you're going to play. And always put your stops in. Put them in first. Let's get moving. All right, traders. So on Tuesday night for trading, Wednesday, March 18th, 2015, we know, well, let me step back. Guess what I didn't have to do in tonight's video? I didn't have to kill myself. Yeah, baby. Woo! You know why? Because, yes, we lost 2 days in a row, and I told you there's no way I'm going down 3 days in a row. Today, OMNI in the chat room, we sold the high in gold, got out near the lows. We sold the high in soybeans, got out somewhere, not near the lows, but got out for 10 points. We bought the lows in NASDAQ. We bought almost the lows in S&P. 4 for 4, baby. Read them and reap. No killing myself in this video. Let's get that out of the way. Next, what's in store for you tonight? Well, we know we've got Aunt Janet, right? My Aunt Janet's going to be having a meeting tomorrow. Second day of the meeting. We started it on Tuesday. Tuesday, Wednesday, FOMC meeting. It's the Federal Open Market Committee, or the Fed. The Fed is having a meeting. In this meeting, they will decide whether or not they're going to raise rates, lower rates, do nothing with rates. And, of course, they can't lower rates. They're not ready to raise rates. We just need Aunt Janet to come out and not slap the markets down. And I don't think she will. I think she comes out and does what she normally does and says, don't worry, we'll be patient, blah, blah, blah. We're going to move when we're supposed to move. And here's another thing that most of you aren't listening to. The Fed was crystal clear when they said 2% inflation will be our trigger. We are not at 2% inflation. Why do you think they're going to raise rates? You aren't listening to the Fed. Crystal clear. They've told us this for quite some time. 2% inflation is their trigger. We are not at 2% inflation. You need to keep that in mind until the Fed changes their speak. They're not doing anything until you see inflation at 2%. Forget about dates next week, next month, next meeting. Watch their target. Their target tells us when they're going to raise rates. Keep that in mind. So I don't think they do anything. They're not even going to talk about raising rates tomorrow. That should propel us higher. So what it says on the board here is Aunt Janet plus chart masterpiece equals hold number 10. And that's what I'm expecting after this pullback we had. And now the recovery we're getting in the emini S&P, Dow, NASDAQ, you name it, the usual suspects. Gold movement and the FOMC meeting. I'm going to show you a very interesting chart on why I'm still bearish gold, why the OMNI is bearish gold, why we've been doing great selling gold, and why you gold bugs aren't paying attention. So I'm going to show you a chart to get your attention. And then there's this. I cannot listen to it any longer. Traders, heartfelt. Every year I spend a lot of time during the last week in December and the first week of January, and I come up with what I call the OMNI year-end projection. And I put it on the board every year, and I say, okay, the market should get about here before the year is over. OMNI has been right 6 out of 7 years. The year it wasn't right, it wasn't wrong either. We had a year where the market opened at a certain level and closed at the same level. It didn't go up or down for the year. It's the only year OMNI didn't call it right. What does it get me? We don't trade long-term signals with day traders. None of my OMNIX take these signals. All putting out my projection for the year gets me is ridicule, heartache, and oh my God, it's got it right for 6 out of 7 years in a row. Try that shit at home, people. You can't do it, but I get ridiculed for this. So I didn't want to give my projection out this year because why? Why set myself up to be abused for no reason? I'm good at it. I call them correctly. You people abuse me all year. Then the target hits and you say, oh, Oscar. Well, so I wasn't going to give you my target this year, but I'm listening to you lunatics out there on TV, in my chat room. The people who call me, they write emails, they're all calling the top. So I'm here to give you my 2015 projection this year in the S&P. S&P cash will trade as high as, are we ready? Drum roll. $2,300 to $2,350 is the S&P cash price. $2,300 to $2,350 this year. This year, 2015, S&P cash should get about there. We are trading right now at 2074. I'm looking for a decent amount of points, 225, 250 points, somewhere around there, from where we are now to the end of the year. Now, if you think that's crazy, I looked for 300 points last year. You know how many we got? 300. Didn't get exactly to the OMNI target. It was shy by a few points, but it gave us the 300 points. So if you think looking for 250, 240 points is a lot, wrong. It's not that much to ask for in 1 year's movement of the S&P. This year, there is my projection, not prediction, but projection of where the market should go. Go ahead, attack me, crucify me, nail me to the cross, do what you guys got to do, but it's going to work just like the rest of the OMNI projections work, because OMNI's better than you nuts who call the top. Let's see where we go. Now my head's out there on the chopping block once again. All right, so I took care of that. I really didn't want to do it, but hey, why not? I'm better than you at this. I'll give you my call. All right, the gold movement, the FOMC meeting, great chart. Aunt Janet and Chart Masterpiece will give us hold number 10. I want to show you these charts right now. Traders, if you like what you're about to see, come on down to livewithoscar.com. Come into my free trading room. It's live. It's free. I am there on camera and microphone, and I will help you get through these rough and tumble markets. With no further ado, let's go look at some charts. Traders, Chart Masterpiece once again. I don't care if you're getting sick of this chart. If you don't like charts like this, you don't know anything about analysis and you don't enjoy this stuff. This chart has kept us in check for so long. It is a masterpiece, and I've been showing this to you since before we got down to this average, and I told you we'd bounce off it and head for new highs. We got through it, we're bouncing off of it, and we're up to here now. It is doing what it was supposed to do. A dip into OTAPMA, the Omni Trading Academy's proprietary moving average, usually produces a new high. We shall see. That was when we were here. Now we're here. It is looking just like it did each one of these other times, traders. I kid you not. I think Aunt Janet Reno, I just called her, imagine. That's a blast from the past. Aunt Janet Yellen should come in and boost this thing higher. I don't see why she'd knock it down. Plus, you've got the technical picture. Next chart. You've seen this chart before. E-mini S&P on the weekly. I've shown you this average. Note the black average, all the holds. I don't want to keep going over this chart over and over again. But every time the lunatics call for the top, it comes down here and holds. Top didn't come in, did it? Top didn't come in again, lunatics. Neither did it come in here, or here, or here, or here. But the psychos just keep calling the top, like here, here. And guess what they're calling for right now on number 10? The top, the nuts. It's not coming. That's not what's happening. I think that held. We'll find out tomorrow. We'll find out which team gets to run with the ball tomorrow, no doubt. But I think the chart's telling us already. Then you've got this. Same chart that I've shown you in the last few videos. Look at how well the Dow Jones Transportation Average, being the leader of U.S. indices, look at how well it has held each time it's come down near this average. It is just a perfect hold every time. Plus the average is so solid it stays alongside this red channel. I mean, look at that. Hold. Now I want you to look at this closely. It came all the way down, got into the average right here, blasted off, and we're here now. But I'm going to blow this up for you because I want you to see what's going on there. So that's, let's zoom this in. Ready? That's the same chart zoomed in. Traders, look. We came right down, pierced the average like it almost always does before the rally begins. And then this is what happened today. Boom. Well, this week, I should say. We came back up so far this week. We started right there at the support line, and we're here now. So it dipped into the average like it usually does and is proving itself. You've got to like this over the crazies calling the top for now. Then, what is wrong with just noticing that this is a major flag right here? I mean, don't you see what's going on here, kids? There's your pole. There's your flag. This goes higher, not lower. I'm sorry. I don't care who's calling the downside. You need to learn how to read charts. Maybe we go down a little bit, but the top is not in yet. Then we go out to the gold, traders. Now I'm going to show you this chart because, wow, has this chart This chart has made so many gold points for my OMNI, I don't even know how to count them at this point. Not that every trade wins, but in the gold trading only, this chart has helped us make a tremendous amount of correct calls. So, here we are. I contend that this bounce, and this bounce is exactly what we have here. You see the three red arrows. What happens next are these two big drops. Now here we have bounce, bounce, bounce. Then we have this little thing which was right here. That's this. I've got my three arrows. Here's what I expect next, just like you see here. Now, that may or may not look like what I want to show you. To me, I see exactly what I want to see. Maybe you don't, so let me show you a little special chart I put together for you here this evening. This is gold movement and Fed days. Let's go back to October last year. We don't need to do too many because it's about what's happening now, not 12, 15 months ago. So, October's meeting, Fed meeting, October 28th and 29th. Here's where gold was when the meeting started. And this is what ensued afterwards, right? Boom, boom, all the way down to here. December is where the gold was when the Fed meeting started. Here's where you ended up before the 2-day meeting was over. Then you come out to this year, 2015, the first Fed meeting. You started here, you had this day, you had that day, and then you had this day. Now, here we are, the Fed meeting that is already in progress and ends tomorrow. Here's one day. What do you think comes next? The likelihood is one of these moves is what should come next. This should help you with your confidence level in continuing to sell gold. And if that doesn't show it to you, then take a look at the F flag that you're sitting in right now. Still in the F flag. There's your pole, there's your flag. Plus you've got the FOMC, plus that weekly chart. You've got to like the downside in gold until it starts going back up. Traders, pull your own charts, do your own analysis. I hope this chart really helps you make decisions for trading on Wednesday. So traders, there it is. You've seen the charts. That's a pretty good argument, right? I mean, we know we're going to use stops because no piece of analysis always works 100% of the time. So have your stops in. But as I showed you on those charts, all the pundits come out and call the top every time it dips just a little like they're doing now. QE just started in Europe. Look what QE did for the US. We're going higher even if we dip for a little while. They're getting ready to raise rates at some point this year, next year, whenever. When they raise rates, it's going to get everybody to get off the couch and go out and buy that dream house or buy that boat or whatever they needed a mortgage for. It's going to get corporations to run out and buy properties. It's not going to be a bad thing when they raise rates. Think about this. When they finally raise rates, if you think it's going to stop the market, they're going to go from 0 to 0.25%. How on earth is that going to stop the economy, right? That's going to get people to go, let me run out and get my mortgage before it goes to 2%. It's going to be helpful, not hurtful. We're going higher. There's lots of other reasons. I've got all sorts of good reasoning, fundamental and technical, but here's my view of this whole game. Everything that happens, everything I just talked about in this video, everything that you know about, all the news that comes out, everything that takes place, our reaction to the news, all the government reports, all of that comes out in the graph. And if you ask me, a chart is nothing more than a visual look at fundamental news and traders' reaction to such. That's what the chart is. If you can read the chart, you've read everything. I can read a chart. Well, I'm sticking with my story unless somehow our stops get tagged and the market starts heading lower. So that's my reasoning why we are going to continue to buy these dips. Let the market tell us when it finally topped, not the lunatics who call the top always. Traders, that gold chart looked fantastic, didn't it? We get some kind of wild movement, and usually to the downside after the Fed meeting. So we like the sell side of gold. That works. And the 2015 target gets pulled out of me because I cannot stand listening to the people who don't know how to read charts calling tops. Maybe I'll be wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to be 6-1-1. Still try that at home, kids. I mean, really calling the entire year. Omni's pretty good at these long-term calls. I am telling you we're going to go up there at some point. We'll see what happens. If you're going to hold me to it, big deal. We're day traders. We can be short the whole time we missed that call. It wouldn't matter to me, but the call is out there. All right, traders, that's about it. If you think I'm good at this analysis and you want to find out how good of an instructor and teacher I am, you come on down to livewithoscar.com, click the OMNI Camp banner. I've got 3 seats left, maybe 2. It depends on the phone call tonight. At my June Omni Camp, it is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday 4-day training session. I will train you personally here in Las Vegas with me. 4 days and nights. I will teach you how to get Oscar's Market Navigational Indicator for yourselves. If you would like that, there's only a couple of seats left open. Come to livewithoscar.com, click the Omni Camp banner, fill out your applications, and I'll be happy to call you back and qualify you for a seat. All right, traders, that's it. Big video, lots of stuff going on. Either we're getting stopped or we're going to be king. So tomorrow, it's like this. We're either getting carried out on shoulders or on a stretcher. It's one or the other. We'll see what happens. I'll meet you there. Buckle up, have your stops in, get ready to go. Traders, don't forget, keep your emotions out of trading. One of the best things you can do to help yourselves with that is say this to yourselves every morning, every afternoon, every evening, and you know what that is. Stops are in. Emotions are out. I told you I wasn't going to have to die in tonight's video. Never am I doing 3 days in a row, baby. Futures trading is risky and can cause substantial financial loss. We do not claim or guarantee that you will profit from the information provided.